Hey, this is Carrie from Wrap Your Head Around Silks. This is the Expecting Aerialist podcast, now with the Digitant family of podcasts. How's it going, guys? I hope you're having a wonderful day. Before we get started, check the show notes. I have so much for you guys with Wrap Your Head Around Silks, some holiday sales coming up, also putting together what will be teacher training Silks Level 1. I'm going to try out a fully online version this spring. So ears peeled for that. And then always Roll It Out, which is the 60-minute virtual live body rolling class. We focus on the aerial muscles, etc. Now that I'm doing it, I don't know what I did before. I do it 2 times a week, Sunday night and Tuesday night. So excited, guys. Have you guys there, and just check out the free stuff I have on my website. There's tons of stuff there for you. All right. Today we have Brande Marrow. She is, like many of us, she characterizes her labor as traumatic. She was induced at 37 weeks due to cholestasis, which she tells better than I do. And she was in labor for 5 days before receiving her epidural. And that was with Pitocin. So she was being induced, and she wasn't moving along that quickly. And then after the birth, she suffered from PPD, which led to some suicidal ideation. There's your trigger warning for that if you're sensitive to these topics. And she credits Pilates and her practice and her community for helping her out of that time. We also talk about her hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's. All right, my friends, this is an amazing interview. Brande, I appreciate you so much for talking about it. And let's get to know Brande. Let's get started. Brande, thanks for joining me.
You're welcome.
I perused your Instagram really quick before we got on, and I see that you were one of the ladies that did the silks at Cirque de la Mer.
Yes.
So you are like the third now person who's on this podcast who did that exact role.
Oh, that's funny.
Because Sarah Mosky, and then, oh my God, why am I blanking on the name? Really recently, like a couple weeks ago, somebody else who had done that.
Oh, fun.
She's now, Vasquez. Lizana Vasquez.
Okay. I don't know that I performed with her, but
yeah, maybe a different year.
That's cool. It was a fun show. I'm sad it's gone.
Did you have to swim in the bay to get to your point?
Yes.
Oh my God. I hear that story, and I would have drowned. I would have literally not made it to the aerial portion of the performance. Brande, welcome to the Expecting Aerialist.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Introduce yourself a little bit. My bean's in the back. She's talking to herself.
Awesome.
It's just the way it is over here.
It's all good. My son's downstairs. My husband's here, though, but he might pop in, so who knows?
If you'd introduce yourself, where you live, your practice, your family, and then I'll just jump in.
Okay. I'm Brande Marrow. I currently live in Norfolk, Virginia, and I have been an aerialist for over 10 years now. I just started my own business, Aerial Spirit, last year, teaching mostly youth, aerial arts, circus arts. I do teach some adults. And my family, I have a 5-year-old son, and then my husband, James Marrow. He's a professor of dance at Old Dominion University. So, that's us.
Norfolk, Virginia. Mm-hmm. Is that where where you grew up?
No, I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay. What brings you guys to Norfolk? Is it your husband's job?
Yeah, mostly. We met in Jacksonville while I was back home. And then shortly after we met, he got a job up in Massachusetts, and I decided to move up there with him, which I am not a cold weather girl at all. So I was like, I love you. You're bringing me up to this cold weather. So we did that for 6 years. He bounced around between different schools and universities. And then finally, after having our son, I was like, I can't do the winters with a newborn. Like, please get us out of here. So he got a job in Norfolk, which is kind of in between the two. It's nice because we can experience seasons, but the winters are not as bad as up in Massachusetts.
And where do you train there in Norfolk?
There is a new studio that I've partnered with in Norfolk, Virginia, in like the historical railroad area called Railroad Aerial Arts. And we've teamed up, and she's doing the adult side, and I'm doing the youth side.
Okay, so you guys went in at the same time and opened a brand new place?
No, she just opened up this fall.
Okay.
I had been bouncing around between places, and luckily through the university, there was a old Stables theater that they had put up rigging, and I guess there was a woman before we moved here that who had taught aerial arts to the theater and dance students. So there was already rigging in there. So they let me train there for a while, and then I have taught a special topics 1 credit hour class to the theater and dance students. I did that last spring. But they're condemning that building now. Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah, but it was nice that it was available to me when we first moved here, because there wasn't much when I first moved here. I moved here in 2018. There was one aerial studio, but my son was like 4 months old, and I just wasn't really ready. It was a far drive, and I actually got into Pilates, became Pilates certified. I did that for a while, and then when my body was back and I kind of felt ready, I went through a lot of like postpartum depression and anxiety, and I was like, you know what, it's time, and it's time for me to start my own thing because I've been talking about it for so long, and I'm just gonna do it.
Tell me about that PPD.
Yeah, so I think my whole life I've suffered from depression and anxiety, and think I'm a little bit maybe on the spectrum or ADHD, undiagnosed, and just have created my own strategies to survive in this life. But yeah, after I had my son, it was real bad. Especially moving to a new place too, like, and not knowing anybody. We didn't have family around. I just felt really isolated. We were trying to live the lifestyle we were living before, which was very much like gypsy lifestyle. Like, I was here, Jim was there, like we were, performing artists, just like off in different places in the country or internationally. And so my husband was kind of doing that while I was at home. And I just was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I need you here. I don't even know how military wives do it. Like, it was really hard. And yeah, I just like kind of, when I wasn't doing the aerial and circus, which was so much of my identity, and didn't have the access to it, didn't feel like myself, didn't look like myself. It just really messed with me. Yeah, it was a hard journey.
What did it look like on an everyday basis? Like I suffered from postpartum anxiety disorder. I'm also like lifetime of anxiety treated for it and everything. Like for me, it would turn into like mental spiraling.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like I would go down rabbit holes in my head that were not like not necessarily not real, but it would be like way farther than I should go.
Yeah.
With a thought.
Yeah. Yeah. When I kind of recognized there was a real problem is, even though I have like suffered from, bouts of anxiety and depression, I've always been able to like bounce out of it. Or I think moving my body always helped me and was my way to cope. Or just like getting out and doing something like that dopamine fix, but maybe because I couldn't do that because I had this responsibility and this other, life form that was depending on me. I couldn't really like just jump and go and do something to fill my cup. I started really spiraling like down these really deep depression spirals and like thinking a lot of suicidal thoughts to the point where I was like planning it. And I just knew, I was like, okay, this isn't me. Like, cause I'm normally just a really positive, I can always like, oh, there's like a brighter side. And I just could hear myself in the way I would talk. And I'm like, who is this person? I don't even recognize
Wow,
this person anymore.
that's so amazing that you're sharing it so openly. I don't know if did you scare was it scary to you in the moment? Did you scare yourself with those thoughts?
Um, Not really, because I was really seriously planning it. I think when I said it out loud, I don't know if I said it to my husband or a friend or I don't know who, but when I said it out loud, I was like, okay, yeah, this is bad.
And how did you pull yourself out of it?
So Pilates really helped. I had a group of women that were really supportive. And when I talked to them about it, like later on and tell them what I was going through, they were like, wow, we had no idea. Like, because I guess from the outside, I was still, trying to maintain and put the smile on my face. But yeah, just being able to move my body again in that way. And they were really supportive in that, like me and Jim, my husband, we would do this thing called the baby swap where like he would take a class and then I would take a class, or they would even let Xander like crawl around, and there's not really a lot of places like that around here. So yeah, I was really grateful to them. And then they inspired me to get certified because I couldn't teach aerial anymore just because, again, there wasn't access to that. So yeah, so I decided to teach Pilates. And then when I was teaching Pilates, I had a client who she does, and I'm not sure if I'm saying her job title correctly, but she does like quantum realm therapy, but she also was and is studying homeopathy. And so I was telling her, about what I was going through, more so like with the anxiety. I don't think I opened up to her, or maybe later I did, about the suicidal thoughts. And so she has me on these homeopathic remedies, and they've totally changed, like 180. Just,
Wow.
yeah. Because I didn't want to take medicine. Well, not that I'm opposed to medicine, but I was like, I want to try every avenue I can
Before you do pharmaceuticals.
before I do, yeah. So making sure that I have like constant movement, the remedies. And then another Pilates client recommended this life coach to me, and she did a lot of work with me on going to my childhood, like really going to things and realizing that I'm a people pleaser. And so I tend to deplete my cup, and when you become a mom, like it's even more.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And yeah, I was just getting lost. And so really setting boundaries, making sure that I have self-care into my routine, movement, delegating more to my husband, creating boundaries between just family members, like friends, and especially like with my business. Like, so it's been a long journey of like self-help books, people, and different strategies.
Wow.
I want to get meat. I want to get meat.
I don't know if you can hear her back there.
I love it.
But she's saying, Arby's, we've got the meats.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
She makes me laugh so hard. She's so funny. 3.5, almost four. She's gonna be 4 in October. Oh my God. And she says it like that. We've got the meat.
Yeah, just like the commercial.
Oh my God. Anyways, she's laughing because she knows that we're talking about her.
She's trying to get your attention.
I know. Good job, Bede. She said, "Good job, Mom."
No. Go team.
I know, go team. Brandy, this is why I really prefer not to, because Brandy, as well as over half of my guests who I don't know previous to our conversation, always like super professional, and they DM me. They're like, "How should I prepare for this?" And I always like voice text them back, "Don't do anything.
Yeah.
We're going to roll with it. We're going to go fast and loose," because that is when we get like the most like authentic version of your story. Because like I had no idea you suffered from PPD, and yeah, it's I always say on this podcast, it was the hardest 3 months of my life, hands down. Hands down. Because, and I've been injured, I've gone through stuff, blah, blah, blah. But it was because there was an expectation in my head that I was supposed to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
And that I was supposed to be joyful because this is the birth of my daughter. And it was like a shame element to it. Because I didn't feel what I thought I was supposed to feel.
Yeah. It's not really talked about. And I feel like there's a lot of trauma too, like just depending, some people's birth experiences, go totally smoothly, but I had a pretty traumatic birth experience. And I was just, I took my son I homeschool my son. So we did this homeschool meetup group yesterday and was talking to a couple of the moms who, one, I think her baby had to have been like 15 days old, like just like pop, she just popped her out. But we were talking about like birth experiences, and I went through a midwife and a birth center thinking they were going to be more open to like, my woo-woo self, and like, and they weren't. And she was telling me she did a lot of research about that, how like they're still bound to like licensure and all this stuff, and how like just in general, like the medical birthing experience like takes the woman's agency out of the equation. And I just think that's so problematic, and I can see like a pattern talking to a lot of these moms, like where you're not being listened to, and what's going on in your body, like you've carried this human, like, and it's like when you feel like you're not being listened to and you're not being heard, there's just this frustration and almost like to the point, like from my experience and listening to other moms, like being bullied into certain decisions, I think is so problematic and so traumatic,
Well, the general population is true. And then like niching down to our population, I cannot tell you how much I loathe when anyone tells me that I'm wrong about what my body feels like.
Totally.
I've spent my entire life noticing everything because we're in a movement practice.
Yes.
And our body is our instrument. Why wouldn't you know what every single joint and muscle fiber and fascia feels like?
Yeah.
Like we know, like oh my God. One of my lymph nodes, you can feel it from the outside of my body. I'm under my armpit. And I was also an anxious kid. So I don't tell, like these stories come up as I have this podcast. So it was protruding a little bit. And I swear, 7th grade, I was completely convinced that I had cancer.
Wow. Because it was
because it was protruding, right? And I didn't even tell anybody. And I was so scared. And then I finally talked to my pediatrician about it, and she's like, "Oh, how did you feel that?" I've been feeling that for years.
What did
just anxious? She's like, "I wish you had said something earlier. That's totally normal for you to feel them on the outside of your body sometimes. It's your armpits. You have lots of lymph nodes there. Sometimes they're closer to the surface than other humans." I was just like, "Oh my God." So, anyways, lesson: if you're gonna have those thoughts, you should probably talk to your doctor. But So Brandy, you say I had a traumatic birth experience as well. I think a lot of women are devastated to have that be their memory. What what was your experience, and was it kind of like in your mind, was it like that, or was it, it's fine, my kid is out, moving on?
No, I carried it with me for a while. And still to this day, like in talking about it, I try to let it go. I've done a lot of like cord cutting, like meditations to just, let it go. It was what it was. It taught me something, kind of thing. But no, I held on to it for a long time. I was angry. I think because number one, it didn't go the way I expected it, which is a thing that I suffer from, like having expectations, and when they don't go a certain way, like forcing it to look like that, like pivoting was a big challenge for me and still is, but working on it. and and again, that piece of like not feeling listened to, learning finally how to advocate for myself, because it wasn't just me, it was like this other person that I was fighting for, I guess. And so, yeah, they told me at 37 weeks that I had cholestasis, which is, you have like excessive bile acids, I guess, and I guess it can cause stillbirth. But when I talked to some people, like my best friend and like her sisters and some other people I talked to, said that they had it and they had completely full term pregnancies, natural births, was fine. But there was this like criticalness about it. Like, and I was just going in for my checkup. We had just moved. There was a lot of other trauma that had happened right before, too. Like we had just moved out of housing because we were living in university housing, and they kicked us out. And we had to like scramble to find a new place in the dead of winter. We like moved in a snowstorm in January. I was expecting to have them closer to February. We were still in boxes. And then they told me I had to be induced like the next day. And I was like, are you shitting me? Like, I don't even have my nursery set up. Everything's in boxes. Like, I'm not ready. Yeah, so there was that. And then I had this, again, expectation that I wanted it to be natural because I wanted to have a water birth, but they told me I had to go to the hospital. And I was like, well, I want to start with the most natural process. So we did like the Foley catheter balloon, twice, the different ones, and that was extremely painful. And then they started with just the, I don't know what it was called, but it was kind of like Pitocin in my cheek. And then they gave me Pitocin. I was so hell bent on not getting the epidural. And then finally it was like a 5-day process. I was like, just give me the epidural.
So they started to induce you just, and then you'd go home?
No, I was in the hospital the whole time.
For 5 days?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. And it just wasn't progressing? Like you weren't?
Mm-mm. Yeah, I just wasn't dilating. And I'm really surprised that they let me continue and didn't force me into C-section. And I think it's because I advocated for myself with my birth plan, which I had to fight for as well with the midwives. Because I can't remember the exact weeks, but they were like, oh, we don't talk about that until like 37 weeks. And I'm like, well, what if something happened?
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, I want you to know my birth plan. So I like fought for me to have it. And then lo and behold, I had to be induced. So I'm glad that I had this birth plan. And I'm wondering if there's some kind of legality, if like they have it in writing, they have to, I don't know. But I'm happy that at least I had him vaginally.
Okay, so you didn't have a C-section. Were you working with a brand new team because you moved, or were you in the same city?
We were still in the same city. We were in Massachusetts. We were in Beverly.
Okay, so in the 5 days, when did you get the epidural?
The last day.
You were on Pitocin for 4 days without an epidural. And you're walking around, breathing, all that.
it's all kind of a blur. I mean, there is like a video, and I don't remember which day it was, of my husband trying to make me laugh, and we were walking around, and he was like sliding on the, the hospital floor, which later we're like, that probably wasn't a good idea. But I do remember a lot of it. Like they did have a bathtub, and I was in the bath a lot. I was doing my, because I went through hypnobirthing. I was going through my hypnobirthing meditations, and I just remember there being a lot of pain. And then finally, I was like, I can't anymore. And then when I had the epidurals, finally, I think when my body could relax, and I did start to dilate, but my legs were numb. So I couldn't feel them. And I advocated for myself to be in a squat position, because I had done some birth training saying that that's the most natural position. And it felt the best for me. So, rolling over from like laying down to squatting was kind of tough because my legs were kind of numb, but I gave myself, and I don't know if this is TMI, I'm sorry, but like
there's no TMI on this podcast.
I gave
zero
pretty horrible hemorrhoids because I was pushing against the contractions, really feel them. And that was a whole other like traumatic healing experience after having.
Okay, yeah, let's ask that. What's the pelvic floor experience like after postpartum then?
Yeah, I mean, it was gone. I had no pelvic floor abs anymore. And then, yeah, I had ripped a little bit. So there was the, what is it? Episia.
God, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Episiotomy.
I had that.
And were you, a lot of us aerialists, were you too tight in your pelvic floor? Did you go through all that like
probably
work previous to it? Because I didn't.
No, I didn't really. Did I learn about it beforehand? I think I had, but it just wasn't really registering. And I listened to a webinar from Emily Sherb. She had a woman talking about pelvic floor and talking about how circus artists tend to be hypotonic. Yeah, hypertonic. There you go. So later I'm like, that makes sense. Because, you're always taught to brace. And even in my, when I was doing my Kegels, I was thinking more of like the tensing than the relaxing. So,
yeah. And then meanwhile, all of us need to relax.
Yes.
I mean, I was prone to UTIs anyway, but then into my 30s, I would just get them every single time I had sex, or I thought. And then later I found out that my pelvic floor had just become so tight that it felt like a UTI after the abrasion of sex.
I never thought of that.
Yeah. So like I had UTI symptoms, but I didn't have any bacteria that was actually in there. I completely decimated my gut biome with antibiotics because I took them too often. And then later learned this. And then now when I do my pelvic floor exercises, because I'm contracting my pelvic floor automatically all the time when I'm doing my inversions and stuff.
Right.
So all of my pelvic floor work on the floor now is relaxation.
Relax.
And relaxing that trampoline downwards and like really focusing on it. And I have not had any UTI symptoms since I started working on it.
Wow. Where did you find that information from?
Honestly, everything I've learned is from interviewing people.
Oh, okay.
I've learned so much. I'll tell you something else that I learned. Who told me that I should get my hormones tested? Because basically she had an experience where she had some symptoms coming up and she ended up being deficient for a mineral. And she got tested for things and she supplements that mineral and everything's back to normal. So I was like, I wonder if I'm getting perimenopause. And so I go to my doctor recently. I've been talking about this on the podcast. So here's the update, guys. It's what day is it? I'm not sure what day is it. Anyways,
Thursday, the 21st.
So something like that, recording this. And I went to my OBGYN and she's this like very like curt, very like when you're short, like
She's blunt.
Blunt. She's a very blunt woman. And sometimes I don't think she's the right doctor for me. And then she says something so real to me that I end up staying. She doesn't fuck around. And she's this, 50-some-year-old Korean woman. And so, but, I don't know if you experience this. Bless you. I'm fit, more fit than the average population. Actually, let me back up. I went to my primary care doctor, who is also a 50-some-year-old Asian woman. I always have Asian women. I don't know why. That's who I gravitate toward. And I told her that I wanted to get my hormones tested because I thought maybe I was, some stuff is changing, and I think I'm going through perimenopause. And she's like, well, go to your OB/GYN for that. But Carrie, you're just getting older. And I was like, that's my point. That's actually the point. My theory is that these two women are in the generation above me, or maybe they're early Gen Xers, and I'm a late Gen Xer, that like women were just programmed to like get older in silence.
Just suck it up.
I think suck it up. They're in that generation, and therefore they are saying to me, suck it up. And so I went to my OB/GYN, and I just got my IUD put in. I was like, by the way, I want to get my hormones tested because I'm starting to have symptoms. And she asked me what my symptoms are. And I tell her, like, I'm hot all the time. She's like, is it a hot flash or are you just running hot? I was like, I don't know, but I'm hot. I'm like the temperature of the sun. And like, it wasn't this way before I got pregnant. And then also, because I'm 46 this year. And
wow.
And I get carded at the grocery store, people. I'm winning. It's the Chinese thing, and it's also because I'm pretty immature. It seems like
Stay young.
I'm a young soul. So then my OB/GYN, she's like, well, if you're getting a little belly fat, then that, you had a kid. All women look like that. And she's looking at me, and I look fit, right? So she's like, I don't know, Carrie. And I was like, look, in the past, when I've gained weight, it has gone to everywhere. Boobs, belly, hips, butt, everywhere. Now it's one place. Everywhere else looks like I do 50 half pull-ups a day, which is what I do. Like I work out a lot, right? And so the next time I went, I was like, and I was told, like, say that you have perimenopause or that you think you do. Again, when we're 70, somebody else, Carolyn Griggs said, if you're 70-ish and they won't give you a heart check, just feign chest pain. Yeah. Like just go and say that you have chest pain so you'll get an echocardiogram, because otherwise they're not going to do any preventative medicine on you. So anyways.
Crap. Our healthcare system is crap.
No, basically, but you don't have to prove it. How are you going to prove that you had chest pain? They have to test you for that, which is what you're asking for.
Right.
So I go in, I use the word perimenopause, and therefore she's like, okay, fine. So we just got our test results back. My FSH levels are abnormal.
What's FSH?
FSH is a hormone they test to find out your fertility level.
Okay.
So it's something that you test if you want to get pregnant.
Okay.
For example. And so then I'm going in 2 weeks. We're going to talk about hormone replacement therapy because
it's contributing to the symptoms.
Well, hormone replacement. So basically, like having an abnormal FSH or one of the other hormones means that you're lacking in a hormone, probably estrogen. And they can give you like an over-the-counter, or you can homeopathic. There's homeopathic ways, but like you have to know what your imbalance is and then you treat it. So her saying to me, we are going to go back to you in a second. I swear, Brande.
Oh no,
I get on my tangents.
No, you're good. I was going to ask if they did blood work. Was it blood work?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's just blood. It's a tube of blood, one tube of blood for 5 different tests, and to check if you're in perimenopause or menopause. And found out, I thought it was going to cost me like $1,000. It cost me like $115 with my insurance. My insurance is not great, by the way. So when the doctor's saying you are getting older, does that mean in their minds is that, yes, you're probably going to perimenopause, but we don't care? I don't know what that means. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. They're just being lazy, I guess. I don't know. Or maybe they just don't know. Or maybe they truly believe that. So yeah, there's a practice here in Virginia Beach called Reboot, and they're like, and I feel like they're becoming more popular. It's like a functional healthcare place, and so
Ah,
to even start to be well, the initial visit, you have to get a full blood panel, and they take insurance now, which is awesome. I think before they weren't. It was just like you pay out of pocket. And so I got a full blood panel and found out that I was super deficient in many things. My
really?
estrogen progesterone balance was off. I had too much estrogen. Magnesium was low. I found out I have an autoimmune disease. Well, I think it's the beginning. I think if I were to go to any other doctor, they wouldn't have diagnosed me, but because they're really conservative at this place, they got me started on a treatment plan to help with it's called Hashimoto's.
Oh yeah, I've heard it. Can you talk about what that is for the listeners?
It's hypothyroid.
Yeah,
And
okay.
also, so not just that, but you create an enzyme or maybe a hormone. I don't quite, I might be getting the verbiage wrong, but that attacks your thyroid. So that's why it's an autoimmune, because basically you're producing something like your body.
That's attacking yourself.
Yeah, yeah. So, and I've felt these symptoms my whole life, except for a few. Like, so I'm always cold. I always have cold hands, and that's a symptom of hypothyroidism. What else? Mood swings, you know? And I'm just like, okay, well, maybe that was contributing to some of the like big mood things I was feeling like my whole life. And then even more so after having my son, because your hormones and your levels are all crazy anyway. And then hair loss, I don't really experience that. There's some other ones. Weight gain, I have experienced some weight gain. But I think because, you know, we're such movers, you know, maybe it doesn't self as much as someone who wasn't a mover, but I can tell, you know, when I'm not moving and
Yeah.
I'm, you know, like 4 or 5 pounds, like is heavy, especially when you're carrying yourself in the air, you know? But she got me on a lot of different supplements and even changing my diet, like, so increasing iodine in my diet. I was low in selenium. So she told me to eat like a Brazil nut a day, and that will fulfill your selenium.
Amazing.
Yeah. And a lot of these things like contribute to the hypothyroid or the thyroid dysfunction. So I think magnesium was one of them. Iodine is one of them. Yeah. So just, it was interesting. I was like, I wonder how long this has been happening. And
yeah.
so I definitely have felt like since I've changed my diet, and I'm on a complete anti-inflammatory diet. So no gluten, no dairy, reduced sugar. I started a meal prep service, which made it way easier. And I feel like just, you know what I mean? Like before I was like up, down, you know, and really, and now like for the most part, I mean, I still have my days, but I just feel a little bit more like, you know, and I don't know, I can't find the word, but like even playing field, you know, like I'm chill. I can.
Yeah, I mean, I even feel like I should go get a full panel because the other woman I talked to, she was deficient in zinc, and it was like messing her up in ways that no other doctor could really like, you know what I'm saying? Because they don't.
Yeah.
If we don't know these things, how are we supposed to treat it? That the other thing is the reason why I wanted my doctor just to order the damn panel is because if it was normal, I would probably get a thyroid panel next because I knew something was shifting with my body.
Yeah.
We know,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Is that diet difficult for you when it comes to maybe so you started a meal planning, meaning you order a meal planning like it comes to you?
So I started with HelloFresh.
Okay.
Which was awesome. It made me feel like a chef, but
I love it.
They didn't have as many dietary restrictions. You could be like do pescatarian, vegetarian kind of thing. And then I switched to Hungry Root because they do more specific. They have you fill out like a whole quiz. So they do, dairy free, egg free, complete vegan. My husband's allergic to eggs, so I have that in there. And the meals are pretty good. I actually got even more lazy and I hired somebody once a week to meal prep for me. She's actually my neighbor, so when the box comes, she picks it up or I bring it over there and she like preps the meals and puts them in little
Hungry Root, is it the same thing as HelloFresh where you actually do the cooking yourself, or is it just like in the box, you open it, you heat it up?
a little bit of both. They have some things that are like, for example, they have these rice bags that are they remind me of like the Uncle Ben's, where you just
Okay, yeah.
So they have some things like that, and then they have other things where you have to like cook it and stuff. Not a whole lot of chopping like HelloFresh. Like HelloFresh is, and that's what I said. I felt like a chef because you were chopping, you were mixing. Some things are already like pre-prepared for you, but there's still a cooking element to it to the point. And I do not like cooking. It's like not my zone of genius or even excellence. Like I'm competent at it. I can do it, but so that's the other piece of this whole self-care thing is learning when to delegate and buying my time back. And that's really helped. So yeah, hiring this neighbor to cook for me, and I have like my little Tupperware when I come home from a long day teaching. I don't feel like cooking. My husband, doesn't really. I mean, he will, but it's been a lifesaver. We've only done that for the past week. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm assuming like if you're gonna be on a diet like that, that would be, just have food cooked and ready to warm up when you get home. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah. And it's all really good food. All really good.
Sure.
And you feel better. And I was worried about it because I was like, oh, how are we going to pay for this? It's this
right.
So luxurious, when you think of people who have like meal prep service and chefs, you're just like, oh, they're living the life. But honestly, it saved us money because I was going to the grocery store, like either hungry, just buying a bunch
right.
of, and then I don't have things. And I'm like, I just went to the grocery store. How is there nothing to eat?
Right, because you bought like condiments and like some raw chicken or whatever, and then it goes bad, and then the avocados you have go bad. Yeah.
Exactly. So there's less food wasted. And I feel like it's been way more efficient.
I think for some people, it would actually make a lot of sense. I want to wrap today by asking you about your practice. Tell me about how your body feels in the air, what it was like to get your pelvic floor / core back to where it was like functioning again.
Body feels pretty good. I found out I have a tear in my labrum. But when I was talking to my physical therapist, this one that I found is really great. He was a baseball player, so he like gets overhead stuff. And he's like, just because you have a tear doesn't mean it's like the end all be all. And he told me about this study of these baseball players who like had their whole career, weren't experiencing any symptoms, had MRIs, and they had a bunch of tears. He's like, so you could have tears in your right side. You're just not feeling symptoms. But currently everything feels great. I don't train as much or as hard as I used to, like before baby, but honestly, like I don't need to. Like I feel like I found a system for me to be efficient and to like do me. I'm really getting in this mindset of like I don't have to do all the crazy like trending things that everyone's doing to feel validated, and really honing in on like me and my style and my authentic movement. So that's been really empowering. And I mean, I can't say enough about Pilates. Like I'm so grateful for finding it when I did. And I think I wouldn't have found it if I wasn't in the situation I was in where there was no access to aerial. So it's almost like it really like happened for a reason because it made me really use my core, where I feel like even before I had Xander, I was overusing hip flexors, you know what I mean? Like thinking I had a strong core, but really I didn't. So yeah, I feel strong. I feel good.
What does that look like? How many days a week are you getting on an apparatus?
Well, I teach about, and I know teaching is different than training. So I teach about like 4 days a week. One of those days I really try to like get up and do, a flow, put on a song.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I do private trainings actually with Sarah Romanowski. I try to do that.
Oh, really? Oh, it's such a small world we have here.
Yeah, so we're actually going to meet this Sunday. It's been a while. We were traveling over the summer, so
Virtually.
Yes. Hello.
Oh, say hi to Brande.
Hi.
Hi, let's see. There's the girl. She always knows when I'm almost done.
Yeah.
Huh? You did so good.
Yes.
Can you say, hey, come here. Brande, how old are you?
I'll be 41 this year.
Oh my God, the big 40 and the 41. Okay, ready? Ready, Bean? Can you say, Arby's, we've got the meats?
Arby's.
No, say it loud.
Arby's, we got the meat.
I love how she has like the end of the word meats
Yes.
down.
You've got that comedic timing for sure. Awesome. She's a cutie.
Yeah. She's the best. Teaching saves my training because yes, it's not the same.
I'm going to school.
But I'm getting the conditioning in at least.
Yeah.
I'm going to school soon.
You're going to school soon. Okay, well.
You are. Are you excited? Are you excited to go to school soon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we have the best time. Look at this being. Kiss mama. Kiss mama. Kiss mama. Oh. Brande, it was great to meet you. We have friends in common, I see.
My pa's getting grossed out.
Your papa gets grossed out. Your papa gets grossed out with toots.
Oh.
That's the difference between me and my partner. He doesn't think farts are funny, but mama thinks farts are funny. Right?
Farts are definitely funny.
You know the difference, Brande?
I know the difference.
Oh my God, you're the best. Okay, Brande, it was a joy. Thanks for coming on.
Yes, I love this. Thanks for having me.
Brande, thank you so much for being vulnerable and sharing your story. I know that it helps women out there who might be going through the same. And it's not easy. Sometimes it can be the loneliest time of your life. So I appreciate you. You also came up in a conversation that I had this morning, well, kind of video chat with Sarah Romanowski. She's like, yeah, I teach Brande, and she was talking about the podcast and how, so we talked about you today, and yeah, I love that you shared your story. Really appreciate it. All right, my friends, things to look out for. I'm going to have a little holiday sale from some of the stuff from Wrap Your Head Around Silks. Teacher training, Silks Level 1 for 2024. I'm going to try an online only version. I did the hybrid version this year, and I just want to see how it might benefit people who can't fly here. And yeah, I appreciate you guys. If you would honor me with a 5-star rating and a review, it means so much. If you want to hear the sound of my voice even more, Greener Grass with Kelly McVeigh. We talk about a lot of different topics, and we try to make those guests and topics and geographic, all that diverse. Check out Digital Podcasts, Health and Wellness Group. Lots of great resources there as well. Okay, guys, have a great week. Over now. This is Carrie from Wrap Your Head Around Silks. This is the Expecting Your Ails podcast.